My Uber driver turned around at a red light and asked, "What really happened in that hospital room?" I froze in the back seat, hand halfway to the door handle. "What did you just say?" I asked, but he was already looking forward again. He repeated it calmly. "That hospital room with your mom. What really happened there?" My stomach dropped because my mother had died 2 years ago in a hospital room, and she had waited for me to say 3 words I couldn't bring myself to speak. "You must have me confused with someone else," I said, but my voice cracked. The driver shook his head, eyes meeting mine in the mirror. "Aaliyah Silva, I picked you up before. Your therapy appointment ran late today." I hadn't told him about therapy. The address I'd entered was for the building next door. "This has to be some mistake," I said. But even as I said it, my hands were shaking. How could this stranger know about my mother's last moments? 11:47 p.m., February 15th, 2022. Room 247 at the local hospital. Every detail was perfect. The exact time, the exact room. "How do you know that?" I asked. He didn't answer directly. "The blue cardigan you're wearing now. You wore it that night too. Still has the coffee stain on the left sleeve." I looked down and found the faint brown mark I'd never been able to wash out. My sister was calling. I answered, whispering that something was wrong with my driver. She told me to get out immediately, but we were on the highway now. The driver turned the music down completely. "Aaliyah, the 3 words weren't what you think." She was waiting for something else entirely. He pulled off at an exit I didn't recognize. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "Get out at the next light," my sister was saying, but I had to know how he knew these things. "You were alone with her," he continued. "The nurse had stepped out. The door was closed. You held her hand with both of yours." These were details no one could know. I'd never told anyone, not even my therapist, Dr. Manon. I glanced at his phone mounted on the dashboard. The GPS showed we were going south, not north. The blue line on his screen flickered and rerouted. "The birds," he said quietly. She kept apologizing about the birds. The words hit me like ice water. My mother's final rambling about my pet birds from childhood, the ones she'd killed during her divorce. I'd never told anyone about that confession. Not my sister, not my therapist, no one. "How do you know about the birds?" My voice was barely a whisper now, my breath shallow. The driver didn't answer, just kept driving. My sister was screaming through the phone now, saying she was calling 911, that she could see my location moving toward the local hospital. "Why are you going to the hospital?" she demanded. I didn't know how to answer because I hadn't known that's where we were heading until she said it. The driver pulled into an empty hospital parking lot, the place where my mother died. Not a single car, not even an ambulance, just us. "Why are we here?" My voice came out cracked. He turned around fully, and I saw the hospital bracelet under his sleeve. February 15th, 2022, the same date. I checked his name on the Uber app, Jim. "Room 245, my brother was dying 2 doors down from your mother. The vents in that old wing carry sound." But that didn't explain the visual details he couldn't have heard. "Your mother's nurse, Lillian Vega, tried to contact you last week. Then she died." My sister's voice cut through. "Lillian called me too. Said something about mom's death." Jim handed me an envelope from the glove compartment. Inside was a flash drive and a note. "Your therapist records your sessions." Jim plugged the flash drive into his phone. My own voice filled the car, talking to my therapist, but I didn't remember this conversation. I was describing my mother's death differently. In this version, I had said those 3 words. "When was this recorded?" I whispered. "Last Thursday, your 4 p.m. appointment." But we'd discussed something else entirely. My sister's voice cut in. "Aaliyah, Dr. Manon's office just left me a voicemail. They said you never showed up today." My head was spinning, but I'd just been there. "There's something else," Jim said, his voice urgent now. He pulled out a hospital security photo. Timestamp 11:45 p.m., February 15th. It showed Dr. Manon entering room 247, 2 minutes before my mother died. "He wasn't supposed to be there," Jim whispered. "Lillian saved the footage before she died. 7 patients died that night. All were improving. All had family present and final words they couldn't say." My hands were shaking violently now. "What are you suggesting?" Jim looked at me directly. "Your mother's morphine was increased at 11:46 p.m. The order says you requested it, but you never did you?" I shook my head, tears streaming. "Lillian tried to report it, then her brakes failed. A text lit up my phone. 'Dr. Manon, I know you're in the parking lot. We need to discuss what you think you remember.'"